What if I told you that control isn't about force? It's not about shouting louder or dominating a room. Real control is silent, invisible. It slides into people's minds unnoticed until they're thinking what you want them to think, doing what you want them to do, and thanking you for it. Dark psychology isn't about being evil. It's about understanding how people actually think, not how they say they think. People say they like honesty, but lie to them the right way, and they'll call it charm. People say they want freedom, but give them the illusion of choice, and they'll feel more loyal than ever. Let's be honest, most people walk around like open books. Emotional triggers exposed, patterns on repeat. And here's the truth. If you know how to read those patterns, you can write their next move. You see, there's a small percentage of people in this world who understand human behavior on a level so deep, it looks like mind reading. These people don't get manipulated. They are the manipulators. They're not controlled. They pull the strings. And the scary part? You never see them coming. That's what dark psychology is. It's the unseen layer of influence that hides beneath every conversation, every negotiation, every so-called coincidence. Now you might be wondering, is this dangerous? Could someone misuse this? Absolutely. That's why most people avoid it. But here's the twist. Whether you choose to learn it or not, it's already being used on you. In advertising, in relationships, in workplaces, on social media. Every day you're being nudged, redirected, emotionally baited by people who've studied these psychological tricks. They know what you fear. They know what excites you. They know how to sell you your own decisions. And if you're not aware of how it works, you're not safe from it. This video isn't about turning you into a villain. It's about protecting you from manipulation by understanding it. Because once you know the patterns, once you see the invisible levers people pull, you gain power. Quiet power. Influence that doesn't need to shout. And here's the best part. These techniques aren't hard to learn. They're rooted in human behavior that hasn't changed in thousands of years. We all want the same things: validation, certainty, admiration, security. Learn how to speak to those desires, and you'll start controlling decisions without even asking for them. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need a degree. All you need is awareness and the willingness to use what others are afraid to admit even exists. Because the moment you internalize these tricks, you'll notice something disturbing. The world isn't fair. It's rigged in favor of those who understand psychology. So in this video, I'll expose 5 of the most powerful, manipulative, and rarely understood dark psychology tricks that elite persuaders use every single day, silently, subtly, and successfully. Not theory, not fluff. Real mental levers that you can pull if you dare. But I'll give you a warning up front. Once you learn them, you'll never look at people the same way again. Let's begin. Trick 1. The mirrored vulnerability hack. Make them trust you so deeply, they open up without realizing it, and then you own their emotions. Humans crave connection, but they fear judgment. Most people don't share what they feel because they don't want to appear weak. So here's what you do. You go first. But not with real vulnerability, with controlled vulnerability. You say something that seems personal, but is carefully chosen. For example, I used to overthink everything. It honestly made me lose opportunities. This does 2 things. First, it makes you look authentic. And second, it triggers their brain to think, wow, they trust me. Maybe I can trust them too. Now they'll start sharing their regrets, insecurities, desires. And as soon as they do, you own the conversation. Why? Because whoever shares first gives away the least power. Whoever listens quietly holds the most. From here, you can gently validate their feelings. That totally makes sense. Honestly, I'd feel the same. Validation creates dependence. It rewires their brain to associate safety with your presence. And soon, you'll notice they begin to seek your approval before making decisions. This is not connection. It's emotional control disguised as empathy. Trick 2. The false choice framework. Make them feel like they have freedom, while you control every outcome. This is a classic manipulation used by top negotiators, powerful CEOs, and even cult leaders. Here's the idea. Never give people real freedom. Give them the illusion of it. Let's say you want someone to choose option A. You never say, choose A. Instead, you say, you can go with A, which has this benefit, or B, but it might create these complications. Totally up to you. Notice what happened? You disguise direction as freedom. The brain craves autonomy. People resist being told what to do. But when you give them a fake fork in the road, they feel in control even though every road leads to your goal. This is the same tactic used in political debates, product sales, and even parenting. Would you like to clean your room now or after 15 minutes? It doesn't matter what they pick. They've already agreed to your agenda. Use this when pitching ideas, diffusing conflict, or steering conversations. Make them feel like they decided, but ensure that you design the decision. Control wrapped in freedom, that's dark psychology. Trick 3. The power of paused silence. People fear silence more than confrontation. Use it to dominate without saying a word. Most people talk to fill the gap. They hate silence because it feels awkward. But manipulators? They weaponize it. Here's how. After someone makes a strong statement, especially if it's emotional or defensive, just pause. Don't argue. Don't respond. Just look at them. Let the silence grow. What happens next is predictable. They panic. They fill the silence. And in doing so, they reveal more. They clarify. They correct. They expose. Their anxiety forces them to spill information they never meant to share. This trick is pure psychological warfare, because silence is pressure, and the one who holds silence the longest wins. Mastering this makes people feel like you're always one step ahead, like you're seeing through their words into their mind, and that fear alone makes them more compliant in the future. Trick 4. The confusion and relief loop. Break their thinking pattern, then reframe reality, and they'll accept anything you say next. This is the most underrated dark trick. It comes from hypnosis, but works in everyday life. Here's how it works. You confuse them briefly. Maybe say something that sounds profound but makes no logical sense. Example, most people never notice when the clock inside them starts ticking backwards. Pause. They'll look puzzled. That's your moment. Immediately follow with a simple, strong command. That's why it's time to take control now. This technique short-circuits their rational brain. While they're still trying to decode the confusion, your command slides past their logic and plants directly into their subconscious. The trick is, in the contrast, confusion triggers a psychological discomfort, and relief brings a rush of acceptance. They accept your conclusion just to close the loop. It's exactly how cult leaders rewire belief systems. They overload the brain, then offer clarity, which the brain grabs like a lifeline. Use it wisely. It's powerful, too powerful, if misused. Trick 5. The scarcity of attention principle. Make yourself rare, and they'll chase you. Make yourself everywhere, and they'll ignore you. This isn't about arrogance. It's about psychological positioning. People value what's scarce. When your attention is freely available, people take it for granted. But when you withdraw strategically, it activates fear of loss. Here's the key. You must be high value first. Display confidence. Show clarity. Offer deep emotional presence once, then disappear. Don't reply instantly. Don't over-explain. Let your absence speak louder than your presence. This triggers dopamine uncertainty, the same chemical loop that makes gambling addictive. They start thinking, did I say something wrong? Why haven't they replied? I want that energy again. Now you live rent-free in their mind. They need to win your attention back. And once someone is chasing your validation, they're no longer in control. That's when you step in, not with desperation, but with direction. And they'll follow. Trick 6. The label and lock technique. Assign them an identity and they'll work hard to prove you right, even if it's not who they really are. This one is dangerously effective because it taps into the deepest driver of human behavior, identity. People don't act based on logic. They act based on who they believe they are. So, if you want to control someone subtly, don't argue with their choices. Instead, assign them a label and lock it in. Here's how it works. Let's say you want someone to trust you with a secret or act more loyally. Instead of asking them to be loyal, you say, "You've always struck me as someone who's fiercely loyal. Not everyone has that." Or, "You seem like the type who doesn't just follow the crowd. You think for yourself." Notice something? You didn't demand loyalty. You planted an identity, and now their ego will fight to protect it. Because once someone accepts a label even silently, their actions follow. Why? Because breaking the label would feel like a betrayal of self-image. And the human brain would rather be wrong than inconsistent with its identity. Politicians use this. Manipulative partners use this. Even cult leaders use this. They don't argue, they define. They don't convince, they frame. The trick is to give them a label that serves your goal, but is flattering enough that they don't question it. You've always been someone who sees patterns others miss. You're the kind of person who stays calm under pressure. Each of these statements is a trap made of praise. It flatters their ego while quietly installing a behavioral blueprint that benefits you. So next time you want someone to change their behavior, don't push. Label and lock. Because once they accept the role, they'll perform it over and over again. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. These tricks aren't magic. They're not witchcraft. They are human nature exposed, stripped down, and used with precision. And whether you use them or not, others already are. Right now, someone around you, a friend, a boss, a partner, even a stranger online is pulling your strings, using versions of these very techniques. So ask yourself this: are you the player in the game of influence? Or the piece being moved? Because once you learn how control actually works, you start seeing the invisible war behind every conversation. And suddenly, you're no longer reacting, you're designing. But here's the question I want you to answer in the comments. Which of these 5 tricks shocked you the most? Was it the silent pressure of trick 3? The fake freedom of trick 2? Or the emotional hijack of trick 4? Drop your answer below, not just for me, but to show others you see through the manipulation now. Let's see who's really awake in this audience. And remember, these tools are powerful. Use them ethically or don't use them at all. Because once you understand dark psychology, there's no going back. I'll be reading the comments very closely.